Hey there, here we got another hardware review. This time I'm reviewing the G.Skill Trident Z RGB memory chips. And in this case I got two kits here, both completely identical. And each kit is 32 gigs, so 16 gig per chip, total of 64. And over here we have, this is actually the DDR4 3000. So I was actually going to get 3200, but with the price difference between the two of them, I decided just to go for this one. I actually did get it for a pretty decent deal. I'm going to be pumping this into a Ryzen PC, giving it a total of 64 gigs. I really actually am looking forward to sometime building a server, probably a Threadripper machine that's going to have 128. And of course, you know, going back to my original question, well, what on earth do I need all that memory for? Well, considering doing a little project one of these days, and being that I've not purchased the board or the Threadripper CPU just yet, I went ahead and got some memory just to get it on a Ryzen PC and see how the system's basically working. This wouldn't be the first computer I actually have that is running 64 gigs of RAM. My main PC is actually running 64 gigs of RAM of Corsair memory. Those actually have LEDs on it as well too, though not RGB, but I didn't really need the RGB or LED bulbs or anything like that, anything too fancy on these memory chips, but they were about the same price, so actually looking forward to seeing how these run. Nothing too special, but I just thought I'd go ahead and just do a little unboxing here for you. What is too much memory, or how much memory do you think you really just need on a computer, whether you're doing a workstation, gaming PC, or just regular emailing? My personal opinion, I've actually given 16 gigs of RAM for PCs for family, and they usually just do emailing with very minimal gaming. That may eventually increase to 32. Most of my PCs at home actually are 16 gigs. As I said earlier, one of my PCs is actually 64. Another secondary PC is actually 32, running quad-core memory, so it's going to be 8888. The other PC is also quad-core, so it's running 4 16-gig chips, and of course my Ryzen CPU based computer is actually two 16-gig, two 8-gig chips into 16, so now it's going to be 64. Obviously, we do know that Ryzen does not do quad-core, so it'll still be running on dual-core, and of course I always hear the rumor that Ryzen's really more on dual-channel, only 2 chips as opposed to 4, so I'm probably not going to get any more performance boost from having 4 chips. Regardless, I look forward to using these. These chips actually look pretty nice. They're not too tall, so, and actually it is pretty important since in another review I did review the those Be Quiet coolers, and those heat sinks are pretty massive to some extent. Not the Pro version, so they're not that big. These chips actually look pretty nice. As I said, I did buy 2 kits of these, so this one's basically the same thing. There are many pieces of software you could use to control the colors and whatnot, and I believe if I saw the pictures correctly, and even some information online, these chips you can actually have 1, 2, 3 colors, you know, basically just blending into each other, though you can also just put them the same color. Get a little close-up view there of some stuff for you. Let's go ahead and turn this on. It's a little dark, but not for long. And there they are. All memory chips literally look like they're just touching each other. The little LED right on top. The computer's quieted down a little bit, but you probably still hear some ambient sound from the fans. One memory chip is actually a little out of sync, but again, you can actually control the colors and basically what the memory chips do and all that jazz with various amounts of software. I do have 1 or 2 pieces of software in mind that I'll go ahead and demonstrate and play around with the colors a little bit. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Previously I was using 2 sticks of Corsair memory, just the white LEDs on the top. Now this is basically RGB, so I'll probably just stick to the lighter bluer color that this computer has been using so far. Even the front is using the same color too. Trust me when I say I did not buy 64 gigs of RAM just for the colors. Over here we have some pretty straightforward controls for the memory chips that have already been installed. I'm not sure why it mentions 6 DIMMs here, but obviously there's only 4 DIMMs on this particular board. Particular little options. Right now I just have it on a bluish color and wave. They have some other really interesting things like yo-yo and starry night's actually pretty interesting. But right now I just have it on a very simple wave option. You can actually see how a little pulse goes right down over and over. A couple other options too. The starry night, pretty interesting. Gives like a little spark light. Here's another setting. Kind of makes it think of a yo-yo, I guess. And then of course there's just the rainbow setting where it starts to alternate between different colors. And also just a little color cycle as it was set up earlier when we first turned on the computer. Pretty straightforward stuff. Software seems like pretty stable. You just have to remember to, anytime you're doing a change, to just always hit the apply to all. Otherwise, you're just gonna get some weird, funky looking stuff. I did go ahead and play around with the different colors you can actually put in. There's actually, I did think that maybe, for example, you probably won't have access to all the colors. You know, if you try to set it to white, you'll get some bluish color. It's actually not so bad, but yeah. Kind of impressed with these lights, and contrary to what some people may think, these lights are actually significantly bright. They won't light up an entire case, as you can see, but they're definitely noticeable. I was worried that maybe perhaps they wouldn't be too bright at all. Definitely much brighter than the Ryzen cooler, and almost as bright as this front LED on my Be Quiet case here. I went ahead and relocated the PC here just for a better view. You actually see I settled on this little wave configuration for the memory chips. They put a blue color, you can actually see a little wave going down. I set it to like a timing where it doesn't happen too frequency, too fast, or too slow, since you can actually control the frequency on that. Just this one particular configuration. One little thing I forgot to mention is that each memory chip actually has 4 little LEDs you can configure. 2 around here in the middle, and then 2 on the end, each end. Since there's 4 chips, it's a total of like 16. So you can actually have, let's say, blue, purple, green, yellow, white, etc. So imagine actually having 16 colors all over these memory chips. I did want to do a little blue, white with the wave going down, but I guess the colors just have to be all uniform in one color if I want to do the wave option. I'm sure someone out there will mess around with that though, and there's pretty limitless options you can do if you actually do find the SDK kit for this. So the question remains, what do you do with so much memory? And how much memory do you think is enough for your use? I mean, 64 gigs of RAM, there's so many possibilities you could probably do with. One option is to do some video editing. Maybe you can activate RAM disk usage on your computer. So much memory, you can actually convert some of that to temporary disk drive that you can have really fast load times on games even, or even fast processing on video rendering and whatnot. Another thing is having a lot of browser tabs open. I mean, I just opened up some random stuff here, but this is like really excessive. Though I will show you, it isn't using that much memory for starters, but hey, this is just one browser. So imagine having Chrome and IE and Safari or any other browser, Opera. I want to call them all out so I don't get called out saying I only use one browser. I just have one open right now. Or maybe you can actually do something nutty like having a gazillion virtual machines all running at the same time. I think I have around 12 over here right now. This is actually a really far-fetched usage of a lot of memory. But hey, if you're actually willing to do that, and you can actually see that I'm using from the 128 quite a bit so far. About 51 gigs of that 64 gigs of RAM. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I have some more virtual machines up here. Just so you know, I didn't actually waste time building each and every one. I just basically just copy one virtual disk over and over. So, pretty some deep usage. Since now the virtual machines are just not doing anything right now, it's not crazy. This would be a far-fetched usage of a lot of memory. I don't recommend it. I just did it for fun. Well, I definitely enjoyed doing this little quick unboxing and installation video for you guys. Definitely let me know in comments how much memory you have and what exactly you use it for. I'm sure a lot of people may say gaming. I'm sure a lot of people may say a lot of Firefox or Google Chrome tabs, and I've definitely seen a lot, that's for sure. So I'm really interested to hear your feedback. I hope you really enjoyed this video, you found it kind of useful. If you're actually curious about this particular memory, the Trident Z from G.Skill. So far so good, I'm really enjoying it. Obviously has a really good warranty time on it. I'll probably be getting more for additional PCs as well too, as memory prices have finally started coming down because of the big demand for DDR4 memory on smartphones and whatnot, tablets, and everything else that comes in all that field. If you like this video, go ahead and shoot a like, subscribe. I really enjoy doing these videos and definitely look forward to doing more. Thanks again for watching. Take care.